I've lived in this home for 5 years. So about 9 months into me living in my home, I had flood warning alerts that came through. You get alerts via text in the city, you get alerts via the Ring system, neighbor next door, everywhere that you could get an alert outside of hearing it go through the city, right? I got an alert saying that a flood could come. That had torrential downpour, the wind was blowing, like howling actually, and I decided to go downstairs in my basement. And when I went in the basement, I saw water coming from multiple directions. I started documenting the experience as it was happening, the water coming in. I opened up closets and I saw that items in the bottom of the closet were wet. There was water coming in my back door, and I knew that I had to wait for the storm to pass in order to take any other actions. I did have flood insurance. I purchased it at the same time when I purchased my house. During the process of me signing the documents to purchase my house, I got certain disclosures. Disclosures around, one, my house came with a home warranty, and so there was coverage for 12 months over certain systems. I had to have homeowners insurance as a part of my loan. And then there was a discussion or disclosure around being in a flood zone. And so I got a category of what flood zone I was in. And I said, okay, well, how do you prepare for the possibility of a flood? And so I was told that I could purchase on my own a separate insurance policy. My house is less than a mile from our major river. We have the Anacostia River, which is a major river in the city. And even though my house is not within direct proximity, I cannot see the river from my home, I knew that water was still going to be able to move across the streets, the land, the waterways to get to the river. And so my advice to someone who is thinking about coverage for their home, I would say, even if you cannot see a waterway, you can still be impacted by a flood. I do find it to be affordable. I think the rate at the time, if you think about car insurance, it can vary a lot. However, with the flood insurance, you could shop around to different lenders, but again, it's pretty consistent. Having experienced a flood, documentation is key. One, documentation of your policy so that you know what is covered and what is not covered. I will also document what's happening during the weather event. Documentation from the alerts that came to my phone to communicate indeed the weather service predicted and confirmed that there was whatever the weather event was. I would document with camera, video, pictures. Here is the amount of water and how it's showing up outside of my home, inside of my home. And I would also talk to my neighbors, because if my home is affected and we're usually sitting on the same slope of land, perhaps their homes have been affected too. That evening, as soon as the weather event happened, I went to my device. I still had electricity, so I went to my device and I said, let me look up this policy. And I'm going to submit, this is what happened. It was actively happening at my house, so let me get ahead of it and submit my claim now. I got a pretty quick response from the insurance team. Their questions to me was to send out an adjuster. Again, this was during the pandemic, so some of the adjusters came in person. Many of the adjusters would also offer a virtual service. I think they still continue to have the virtual adjusters come out. Many of my neighbors asked me if I had a sump pump in the basement when I had moved in. So as a level of precaution, they were informing me that the codes had changed and that you should have a sump pump and you should test your sump pump as a part of being a homeowner. And so again, my neighbors had experience, many of them who have lived here have been the sole owners of their properties. And so they've experienced different weather events and know how they impact your home. And so they were downloading this information for me. And so testing a sump pump was something that I learned from a neighbor to see if it was working. One thing that I learned about through DC government, our Department of Energy and Environment has programs that you can mitigate the amount of water that goes into our storm and runoff systems. I have enlisted in those programs, and I am a champion of getting rain barrels. And so on my property, I can prevent 200 gallons of rainwater from moving into the storm system. I also have native plants that have been planted so that the landscaping of my yard is also supporting with water retention, and so that it doesn't overwhelm, yes, our rivers, but also not overwhelm our streets and cause additional flooding. I think getting covered was the best mitigation strategy I could have in the event of a flood. Knowing that there could be a chance of a 500-year flood or 100-year flood, and not knowing when that card would be pulled for the chance of that event, getting covered made sure that I was protected.